Hey, it's Kley. Welcome to another video. Today I'm really excited to be checking out some awesome new gear. These are two new items that I've got here from my friends at Lekato. Send them over to me to check out. I'm really excited to take a look and see what they do. We've got a clip-on tuner, and we got a cool mini digital wireless system that can totally replace a guitar cable. Really excited to check both these things out. If you're wondering about these products, stay tuned and let's dive in. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look. First up, I want to talk about this tuner. Again, this is from Lecato, which is a really interesting company. They make a lot of really cool little products, and they sent this over to me to check out. Really appreciate them doing that. Just for your information, though, they had no input and are in no way, shape, or form reviewing the content of this video, so the opinions are mine and mine alone. But I just want to share with you guys my experience. So this is the clip-on tuner, and just to give you some context, I use a clip-on tuner very, very frequently. I've owned several from Snark. I also owned a Reverb one and a couple other brands, but I think that this Lecato is really one of the better ones that I've ever tried and owned. It really does everything that you want. Just to be very simple and clear, it has a nice big and bright display that's easy to see and read. It is also very, very accurate. I've tested against several other tuning devices. I have a Line 6 HX Stomp that I use on my pedal board for tuning. I also have some plugins in my DAW software that I've used to compare it up against, and the accuracy is excellent. So it really delivers on that front. I like that on the front it's got a really nice big screen. Whenever you power it on, it's extremely easy to read and figure out where you're at, and it could not be easier and simpler to see what's going on. The clip-on mechanism feels really nice and solid and stout. It's got a nice rubber plug, so it doesn't have any difficulty or trouble clipping onto any of the headstocks that you've got. It also has some really nice, it's got a little arm here that has 2 points of rotation, so it's really easy to clip on both the top, the side, the bottom, really anywhere on the headstock you'd want to clip it. It fits in perfectly. One thing that's really cool about it is it actually has a rechargeable battery. A lot of the other tuners that I've had have disposable batteries. When they're done, you throw it away. It just feels a little bit of a waste. But on this one, it's nice that you can actually recharge it. I have been using this thing a ton, and the battery life is really long. It's quoted at about 10 hours, and I would definitely say that mine has achieved that. And I've only really had to tune it once or twice since I've owned it, which has really been a little over a couple of weeks now since I received it. So the battery life has been really excellent so far, but I also really like that you can recharge it. And it's really simple to recharge. It uses just a simple mini USB cable, which I've got a bunch of those lying around. I can plug it into my computer and easily recharge this battery whenever I need to get back to full. Once you do power the unit on, you can actually press the power button again in short presses to switch between 4 different usage modes. You've got C for chromatic, G for guitar, V for violin, and U for ukulele. I typically leave it in the chromatic tuning mode just because that's the one that I prefer to use the most. Sometimes I am switching around between different tunings, and I found that it's been extremely accurate. I have tested it on a number of different other instruments: electric guitar, acoustic guitar, bass guitar, ukulele, and I've found that it performs really, really well on all of those. Sometimes I have clip-on tuners like this that struggle a little bit when you go down to like drop tunings or bass guitars, but this guy kept up no problem and had no issues tuning really well with a bass guitar. The main reason, though, why you'd want to use the other modes is just for ease of use. So if you are in the guitar mode and you press start playing the first string, it will, instead of telling you what the note is, you don't necessarily remember what all the names of the notes are if you're maybe learning or still just haven't gathered that skill. It'll just tell you first string, whether the first string is in tune or not. And you can just go through it that way just to make it even a little bit easier. And it does the same thing for the violin and ukulele. Like I said, you don't necessarily need to know what note you're tuning it to, just whether or not it's accurate or not. There's also a second button. It says flat/open tuning, which is really nice. Whenever you're in the G for guitar mode, you can press this. It'll cycle into drop D, open G, open D, open E, and even flat, double flat tuning. That's just a really nice way of, again, hopping into different tunings. If you've never explored different tunings or kind of seen the creative genius that can inspire in you, this is a really simple and effective, easy way to get your guitar into open tunings. You don't have to remember what the different tunings are. You don't have to look it up on a reference. It's all built in right here. Couldn't make it any easier. Love that feature about this. So overall, I really love this tuner. This is something I'm going to be clipping on my guitars and using every day moving forward. I would highly recommend it. If you're in the market for a clip-on tuner, I think that this Lecato option is a really excellent choice. If you are interested in this, please check the description down below. I'll have links to this where you can check it out yourself. Next, I want to talk about the Lecato WS70 mini digital wireless system. I'm actually really excited to check this out. I really have not spent a lot of time with digital wireless units like this, and I'm really eager to see how this guy performs, and I'm really excited to report to you guys. I think that this is really convenient just because it gives you a lot of freedom of movement. You don't need to be fiddling with cables, wrapping and unwrapping cables. You can just basically plug this into maybe the input of your pedal board or your amp. And then the other end, you can keep it in your guitar and just kind of turn it on and off whenever you want to use it. And it just makes it really, really simple, and it cleans up a lot of clutter. As you can see, I keep a lot of guitar cables hanging around just because I need them, and it clears up a lot of that clutter, and it just is a very clean and efficient setup. But what I really want to do today is actually to perform a little bit of a test, and I want to see how reliable this is in a couple of ways. First of all, I want to see how much distance I can achieve before the signal cuts out. Okay, so what I want to do also is a little bit of a sound quality test. The way I'm going to do it to try to keep this as apples and oranges as I possibly can, I'm going to plug my guitar into my pedal board. I'm going to play some chords into a looper. The output of the looper is going to go into one of these Lecato wireless units, and then the other end is going to go into an amplifier. And I think what I'm going to actually end up doing is running direct into an audio interface and use a digital modeling. And even just to have the signal, the dry signal, coming into the digital audio interface, I can really zoom in and see the integrity of the signal if it's being changed at all by this wireless unit, and I can compare it with the wireless unit in that setup, and then also compare it when using a cable, and we can see how the two compare and contrast. I'm really hopeful to see if there's any difference or not. So let's go ahead and dive into that test. All right, for my next test, I want to see how far away I can go before I lose signal. I've got my guitar plugged into the Lecato unit here, and it's transmitting over there into my audio interface. Right now, I'm probably 5 feet away. I'm just going to walk backwards down this hallway, and we're going to see when and if I lose signal. I wanted to do a little close-up here of these wireless units. You can see there are two of them. They're identical except one is labeled transmitter, one is labeled receiver, and they've got little pictures on the back in case you forget what that means. So the transmitter would come like from your guitar, the receiver would go to your amp or your pedal board, wherever it's coming into. And really the operation of these could not be any simpler. You press and hold the button on the front for a couple seconds, it turns green. You can see right there it's blinking, indicating it doesn't have a friend. Press and hold the second one, and they will both come on and it'll lock just like that, meaning they're good. Now on the side, you can see there for a brief second it lit up green. Whenever you turn the unit on or off, so if I press and hold to turn it off, if I press it again, you'll actually see right there, that's the battery indicator. So my battery's basically full. You can also press and check that any times with a double press. That's a really nice and handy feature. You never have to be guessing about where your battery level is, waiting for it to die or anything like that. I really like that. There is kind of a copper color around the sides, which is really nice. And it's got a little keychain loop here if you want to tie it onto something. There's a micro USB charge port. Both of them have one of those, and it actually comes with a Y cable. So it basically, the cable can plug into both of these and then into a single USB port. So you can actually plug both of these in and charge them at the same time, which is a really nice and handy feature. If you had to charge them both individually, that'd be a giant pain in the rear. The jack here and everything, it feels really solid to me and it feels really nice. It does have a nice wide range of motion here. It basically can travel almost as wide as you would ever practically need. And I've just found that it feels really robust and feels really nice, well made, and just functions really well. I kudos to Lecato for making a really nice, usable wireless unit here. So there you have my review on these two Lecato products. The clip-on tuner and the wireless units, both of them really impressed me. I think if you're looking for a clip-on tuner, I would really highly recommend this one. I think it's priced really, really exceptionally, and for what you get, it's awesome. The screen is fantastic. The functionality is really, really nice. And the wireless units really delivered as well. Thought tonally speaking, they sounded just as good as the cable, and they really add a lot of extra functionality and just save a lot of hassle as opposed to having a cable. So I think both of them are kind of a no-brainer. If you're in the market for something like this, I don't think you can do any better than the folks at Lecato. So please check out the links down in the description below. Show them some support. Let them know that I sent you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a nice day. I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.